He's middle management of men, Wesley Fox. A tamer of building codes and fires, Alan Giannis. And he delivers for America, Andrew Murr. Together, they are the Middle Classholes.
All right, guys. So the other day, actually not that, like 2 days ago, I was home from work, a little under the weather. And I was just perusing the TV to see what there is to watch and put on Mrs. Doubtfire. And fucking me and the wife were like, oh, we haven't watched Mrs. Doubtfire in a while. This would be fun. This would be funny. And then kind of immediately, I was like, damn, Sally Field's a cunt. And fucking her character is a bitch the whole movie. And then we watched the whole movie, and like I kept just kind of like being like I was debating a point to my wife, and she was like, yeah, I get it. She's a bitch. I get it. Like, because she kind of was like, oh, well, Robin Williams, did this. And I was like, oh, you mean had a surprise party for his child? That's what Robin Williams did wrong? Like, fucking, I kind of went on a tirade. But long story short, she's a bitch. Now, I guess she redeems herself. But, like, it is extreme, her behavior in that film. And she's like, I don't like her in that film. I don't know. That's what me and Wes were talking about it the other day, because I saw it. He was like, we got to talk to Murr about this. So Murr, take what's your thoughts on?
Hold on. I think your question was, who is the worst parent?
Okay.
Who is, well, yeah, that's true.
All right,
who is
you're
the
going to
worst
have to
parent?
refresh me. It's been more than a minute since I've seen Mrs. Doubtfire. Now, I remember her.
Okay.
I remember her cuntiness, and I do know that she didn't really change her ways until, after he ended up saving the Robin Corbin or whatever the fuck that guy was. That real buttoned up. Was it Pierce Brosnan? Oh, I thought it was like the Pierce Brosnan lookalike guy that was on Cheers for a Heartbeat. So why did she force him to not be allowed to see the kids at all at the beginning of the ordeal?
So, in the way it works out is they split up. He gets visitation, but like not a lot. So, and she keeps kind of dicking him over with it. Like there's the scene where like she comes and gets them from the apartment, and she kind of shits on him for his messy apartment and all that shit. Like that, which is also ignorant because she's shitting on him in front of kids. My man's trying to get his life together. Fucking like, fuck. Don't get me started. But fuck. Yeah,
no.
There's that part.
Started.
There's that part. There's that part of it, and that so like she doesn't necessarily, but she doesn't help him. And then, fucking later when like all the shit goes down, and they find out like it was him being Mrs. Doubtfire the whole time, like. He makes his heartfelt fucking speech to the judge, and the judge's like, nah, you're just a fucking actor. Like, she sits there and doesn't say a word and, like, sees him breaking, but, like, won't fucking stand up to him or won't stand up to help. And I was like, man, even more cuntiness. Like, you've had opportunities here. You get mad at the guy for not really that much of a reason. I guess you could say that there was a history of it, but it sounds like a history of this guy being a great dad, in my opinion. And fucking, and then you start trying to date Pierce Brosnan, fucking sleazy Pierce Brosnan. Guy's just walking around San Francisco with his shirt half open like he's Tom Selleck, and fucking yeah. And then you shit on the guy when he does something drastic to fucking stay in his children's life because you were like, you know what, visitation's like once a week, and I show up an hour late and I pick him up an hour early because I'm a bitch. Like, fucking, you really railroad the guy. So I understand that at the end he's just like, you know what, dude, whatever. Like, I'm successful. I'm good. You've got my kids. My kids are in my life. Thank you for that. But you're a bitch, and he calls her that basically. But yeah. Who's the better parent?
I think this comes from an era too when the hammer was really swinging heavily in the woman's favor. That was an era because there weren't a lot of divorces until the 80s. The 80s really kicked off that divorce craze, and then that late 80s, early 90s is when Mrs. Doubtfire came out. Every dude was looked at as a piece of shit. Well, men can't raise children, and then. What I do remember from Mrs. Doubtfire is like this This bitch finds a guy that can like support, all of her little like champagne and caviar dreams. And
Well, he's not only that, not to interject because it's fresh in my memory, but he's buying her wares. She's like a interior designer, and they went to like high school together, or college, and he's just trying to get in them pants. Like he shows up to a business meeting, tan as fuck, and he's like, "Hey, girl, you look good." And she's like, "Yeah, anyway, Victorian sconces and fucking Oriental rugs." She says Oriental a lot, too, which feels fucking racist. But, yeah, so he shows up all sleazy and she falls for that shit. Like, I don't know, man. It's just a series of missteps. And then, like I said, towards the end, she gets the man no visitation, at which point he spins Mrs. Doubtfire into, like, the children's show and becomes a big celebrity, and it gets like syndicated, and then she comes groveling and she's like, I want you to have the kids back and shit. And she's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, I bet, because I'm fucking rich now, bitch. Like, sorry. It's just really getting me going. But yeah, lots of things. You're right.
No,
continue. I keep cutting you off because I get mad.
You and I go at each other quite often about things. We have differences of opinions on things. I don't have Mrs. Doubtfire fresh in my memory, but everything that you're saying, I can understand, and it rings 100% true to where I know my breakdown of someone's personality will go. I'm just gonna flat out say, whatever your thoughts are, I think you're 100% right. I remember Sally Field. I remember I had a crush on her because she was hot for so long.
Mm-hmm. Smokey and the Bandit. She was a fox in that.
Yeah. I told my wife that. She was like, what? Because I was like, I don't find Sally Field attractive in this film. Like, that was just an offhanded comment. She was like, why do you find Sally Field attractive in any films? And I was like, whoa, Smokey and the Bandit. Stop it. Check that out. Like,
yeah,
she was
there's
like,
a lot of, oh, all right. I mean, good Lord, that whole era that she had with, the man, the myth, the legend. Who am I thinking of, Wes? The Bandit. Burt Reynolds, man.
Burt Reynolds?
Yeah, Burt Reynolds even said that she's the one that got away, and it's because he was attacking everything else in town.
Everything else.
Burt Reynolds was an attractive dude who played defensive line at Florida State. I don't think he necessarily had a tough time laying pipe.
But I do remember Sally Field being like the biggest bitch in the world. Why won't you let this man just like see his children in a reasonable light? Hey, you know what? Why, if you got all this money from your interior, why aren't you paying him some alimony or something? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, it was very one-sided, and then she kept kind of pushing the buttons. Like, stop kicking a man while he's down. He's trying. He's clearly not a bad father. He's maybe a big old child, which you married him, dummy. Fucking, like, you picked it.
I'd tell you, like, all right, I'm not talking, like, child visitation rights need to be pulled into this, but if I'm not necessarily the lone provider for the house, but the lion's share that we live in this grand fucking place on, God knows how much that cost in San Francisco. Yeah. I'm assuming real estate in the early 90s San Francisco wasn't
like, think of the Full House in like San Francisco, and then like double it and put it on a corner and give it a fucking driveway. That's what they lived in. Like, yeah, it's got to be worth like $10 million.
And you say a surprise birthday party, which you glossed over a few facts. A full-on fucking petting zoo was in the place. Ducks and geese were loose. There was a donkey in the living room. You know that thing shit somewhere.
Yeah,
there was everything you can imagine in a petting zoo was all over that fucking house. Pizza, kids pissing and shitting everywhere. Coca-Cola smashed all over the...
Yeah, go ahead. Continue.
If I had showed up to that after a long day of work when my marriage was on the rocks, I may have flipped shit too. I may have said, this is it. We're good. We're done. We're donezo. Now, I think he was allowed to see him once a week, which was the initial pisser. And he's like, oh, that's not enough. And then, come on, man. The guy fucking dresses up as a 7-year-old woman and then
I mean,
then
yeah, I get
fudges
it.
a number in the ad, and then calls in and does a bunch of prank phone calls as fake nannies.
I love it. That's fair. He is not without fault. I'll give you that much. That's not my argument.
I saw for some reason some clips of Falling Down with Michael Douglas have been popping up online, and you know what? Sometimes you will go to extremes when you feel like the world is wronging you. And so I can understand why someone with also to go down and have somebody make a silicone mold of your entire face and body to do a suit for you to go.
Yeah, your gay brother and his lover.
Yeah. Well,
who can do that type of thing, which is weird.
Yeah, let's not forget make like 20 different phone calls in 20 different impressions to throw her off and be like, "Oh my God, there's no good ones," and then the call with the good one, like
Redefining Doubtfire.
It's pretty fucking manipulative.
And she was so stupid she didn't question the fact that Mrs. Doubtfire was 6'2" and had broad shoulders and an Adam's apple. She also didn't question the fact that it just quasi resembled her ex-husband. If you dummied me up and I walked to Sarah now and we've been married for 3 months, she'd be like, awful lot of Wes in that guy, that woman. Sorry.
Yeah.
So maybe she does suck.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. He's not without fault, but I think he's harmless. Well, harmless.
Well, they are his kids, and all he wanted to do was spend some time with the kids. I don't fault him for that. But you don't be a bitch. Don't be a bitch. And you got it. Reasonable. Maybe what was the moral of the story though? Was there a moral of the story?
Yeah, families mend everything. Because it does the send off at the end in the voice of the TV show, because the little girl wrote the letter that her parents are splitting up. There's always love.
Yeah, like it was kind of like a nice, I guess it was also kind of the time where you're right, like divorce was kind of heavy. A broken family was more of a thing, and it was like you can still be a family. Like you're not, your father still loves you, your mother still loves you. Like it was kind of that bringing that home together and getting telling parents hey, don't be dicks with the kids. You'll ruin it all. You're ruining things for everyone. Not just yourselves. Don't be selfish. I think that was kind of the overarching moral.
Favorite line from that movie is when they're at the private pool, when they all get invited, and all the kids. He's like, "All right, kids, chop chop, get in your swim trunks. I'm your new stepdad. Get in the pool with me." And Robin Williams goes like, "This is beyond obsession." Then he proceeds to get drunk.
Well, on a side note, I did see an old interview with Robin Williams. I think he was on with I think it might have been Conan actually, he didn't do a lot of Conan, and he was talking about how he didn't like to get in and out of the makeup obviously because it probably took them hours to put it on. So when they were on breaks, he would just go shopping in the Mrs. Doubtfire get up, and he said he couldn't help himself, and on a few occasions, he went into a few adult stores and started asking about the dildos.
If you're going to perfect your craft, as an old, crusty...
Can I get this in the Mandingo?
Guys, remember Pierce Brosnan, who's also English, asks where she's from. He's like, here, there, a little bit all over. Dodges that bullet. Doesn't ever question it again.
Never says shit.
So I too watched a movie that I hadn't seen in a long time recently. Not all of it. I watched 60-70% of it. Pulp Fiction, which actually kind of breaks my heart a little bit because I'm trying to remember the last time I watched it in its entirety, and it's got to be 5 years. Now, that's not for lack of effort because I think I've watched that movie hundreds of times, maybe thousands of times. Okay, so it's the scene where they go to the apartment, they go to retrieve the briefcase. Jules does his Ezekiel, religious quote. I can't remember what it is. It
walk through the valley of shadow of death.
Reminding myself of what it was called. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The Path of the Righteous Man. And then they kill that guy. Then it cuts to another scene, but then it comes back to the guy in the bathroom, and he walks out and goes like, "Die, you motherfuckers!" and uncorks 6 rounds and misses them. And they look around and they kill him. And every time I had watched that movie leading up to that point, it was humorous. It was funny. The whole dialogue afterwards of Vince trying to tell Jules like, "Hey man, these things happen. This shit happens." The first time in my life, I really, really sympathized and started to agree with Jules about divine intervention. Like this guy, I chalk that up to Jules wanting to get out of being a gangster. He had done way too many jobs for Marcellus Wallace. He was sick of living this life, and this was an out for him, and he didn't want to do it anymore. Now, when I watched this a couple days ago, I was like, man, if that had happened to me, I might think God fucking swayed those bullets away. First time I've seen that movie
sure he
thousands of
dodged
times.
plenty in his day, and this is the one time he was dead to rights, and it didn't get him. And it's like, oh man, I am really pressed. This is God telling me to move on. If you don't see this as divine intervention, I ain't got nothing left for you.
Right.
There's no more signs. This is it.
You're a piece of shit scumbag gangster, and you have dodged enough bullets. I've dodged these bullets for you. Time to inch on. Time to move on to a different profession, whatever that may be. And it was maybe that's why good movies are good movies, because I felt a different way about that scene than I had ever felt before.
Dude. I watched, again, probably like you said, like 70% of it probably about a year or so ago. And the Christopher Walken scene when he's talking to Butch about the watch and hiding it in his ass. And this kind of goes back to what we were talking about last week when you were talking about like your grandfather's buddy was a World War II vet, and you're like, I respect him for that.
Yeah.
You realize in that scene that like it sounds like this is a very buttoned up like military veteran, fought for our country. Then you realize like, oh, this guy's fucking crazy. He's insane. He's to his credit, he's following through with a promise he made, but he's out of his fucking mind. In my ass, and he's talking to like a 5-year-old and getting really didn't need to give all those details, but he did, and in a very insane way, and then kind of catches himself, and then goodbye, little man, and fucking walks out the door.
Take this poop stained watch, have it for the rest of your life. Yeah, I thought I felt sympathy for the clown who came out and uncorked 6 rounds. I used to laugh at the fact that he got shot, and I thought, man, he should have killed those guys. He should have fucking killed those 2, or at least wounded them. He made he could have stayed in the bathroom and kind of walked out unscathed. Maybe he thought one of them would go in there and then it would be a shootout and he couldn't win. But no, man, I hadn't felt any differently about when they sit there and look at their chests and look at each other and look behind them and realize like, holy shit, that happened. Then, instinct kicks in, being gangsters, and they fucking pump them full of lead. And I always laughed at that scene. It was always humorous to me. It's not that it wasn't humorous to me this time, but it's just like, damn, Jules has got a point. This whole Royale with cheese and shit that they were joking around about earlier means dick.
Little fun fact, Easter egg for you. So Samuel L. Jackson also played Nick Fury in the Marvel movies, and when Nick Fury quote unquote dies, he doesn't die, but they make the government puts a headstone up for him and puts him in a graveyard, and the epitaph on his tombstone is the quote from Pulp Fiction, Path of the Righteous Man.
Which one?
Yeah.
Path of the Righteous Man. Ezekiel 29. Yeah. Yeah. Oh God. Well, middle classholes, everyone. Murr, Allen, and Foxman. Hey, People magazine every year, they put out a Sexiest Man Alive, and I looked at the old. You get your Richard Gere's, your Mel Gibson's, your Michael B. Jordan's, your Ryan Reynolds, your Chris Hemsworths of the world. Someone is making a ploy, or at least a petition, or trying to friendly nudge sway the bar a little bit. This week's friend or foe has someone that might not actually categorize as
this is not the person that you would automatically have come to the forefront of your mind. It's like, ooh, they are the sexiest man alive. And by the way, I will just, because in the past it's been questionable, this was in fact written by a woman, but it is your friend or foe. Going to read a news story to you, see if you agree or disagree. Here's the headline: I'm a People staffer who's campaigning to have Jack Black named Sexiest Man Alive. So obviously, a lot of what Wes has just said here. The last 40 years, Sexiest Man Alive issues hit newsstands featuring Hollywood's hottest man of the moment, and somehow Thomas Jacob Black, better known as Jack Black, has yet to have his moment. No offense to George Clooney, Michael B. Jordan, Patrick Dempsey, this pop-up ad, or even the selection of John Krasinski, but Jack Black would cannonball those dudes out of the water. The man is a triple threat who can sing, dance, and act his ass off. He's got the moves of a jungle cat, and he's an absolute comic genius when it comes to timing and that signature devilish grin. And then she goes on to campaign for why she believes that Jack Black should be the next sexiest man alive. So I'm going to kind of keep it like this. Friend or foe? Is Sexiest Man Alive all about the looks, or should Sexiest Man Alive be all about the total package? And as we know, with total packages, i.e. Madden NFL football stats, can you lack in one category but make up for it in another category to propel yourself to the front of the People magazine, Sexiest Man Alive? Friend, nope. Looks got to be there, buddy. Or foe, no. Total package can win it. Alan?
I'd go foe, I think.
But hold on.
Yeah,
I have this question
like,
asked, though. How foe are you going to go?
Yeah, no, we still gotta have some aesthetics, but like, I think, like, I don't know, like there's different strokes for different folks, right? Like different ladies, like different types of stuff. Like we're all married, we all different types of ladies. You know what I mean? Like different vibes from the three of us. So like, I think it's all right to kind of switch it up a little bit. And if there's like my man Jack Black's having a moment at the at the moment, right? He's having a moment.
On
at the
SNL
moment.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Like, didn't a movie come
He's
out?
in
Isn't he in
the
something
Minecraft
stupid?
movie currently. He also just got done with the Super Mario Brother movie a couple of years ago. What else? Four Kung Fu Pandas. Of course, you go back in time a little bit, and you got him in Tropic Thunder.
Saving
Silverman.
Silverman.
Orange County.
School
Orange
of Rock,
County.
which
School of Rock. Yeah.
School of Rock, which I think is like a 94 on Rotten Tomatoes, and
Yeah,
rightfully so. Not debating
Oh,
that.
that's what I think was like the fucking
Nacho
rocket ship.
Libre. What
Wasn't
else?
it? Like,
You've got the
yeah.
Jumanji.
The Jackal.
oh, the Jumanjis. I forgot all about that.
Liar. Liar. Sorry. Cable Guy.
How.
Cable Guy.
Shallow
Shallow
House.
House.
Okay,
He's in
so
Cable Guy.
bottom
as well.
line is this. Oh, by the way, we forget about all of that. Tenacious D as an entity, has both a film and several comedic performances, obviously live show, yada yada. Now I do believe that Jack Black's personality definitely weighs heavily on the sexy side here. But have you seen the homeless man that inhabits the body and form of Jack Black? I'm sorry, I am a straight man. But I can't look at Jack Black and get weird thoughts in my head. I see like a Patrick Dempsey. I see a Timothy Oliphant. I see, like a Timothy Oliphant, right? He's got charisma. He's got, what's the guy, the new hot guy that not acting wise, kind of like a co-star. What was it? Goggins, Walton Goggins. Like I could see that guy, not 100%. He's maybe like a 70 in the looks department, but makes up for it in all these other categories. I think that propels him past Jack Black. I agree that we can stat pad in some categories, but man, I do feel like the looks have to play
But like Jack Black, one, I'll guarantee you. What
No.
have they released
No,
this
she's
shit
just
yet? Is
campaigning-
he out?
she's
Or no? There's somebody's
campaigning
campaigning for it. Somebody's. I guarantee if you get it and we watch the fucking photos that like his spread, my man would be dapper as fuck though. That beard will be clean. I guarantee. I have a feeling. Yeah. Oh man, I think because he's done it before, like for like certain things. And I think my man can get sharp. Plus, when you're rich, fucking,
You can buy
they can make you look sharp. But also, like you were saying, fucking like Goggins, funny guy, but like Jack's funny. The motherfucker can sing. He dances. He's a quadruple threat, man. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like I think he's got a lot in too many categories for anybody really right now. Like who's killing it right now besides my man?
What was the play on? And it wasn't People, but like Jason Kelsey getting America's Sexiest Man. I don't know who did that, but that was like this lumberjack kind of.
But he just won a Super Bowl, hadn't he? Like,
he had just retired, and
some Campbell ads, some chunky soup.
I think that was a part of the Sexiest issue. You know, they do it and then they feature a whole bunch of people inside of it. But like John Krasinski was the cover boy for Sexiest Man Alive. And I get it. John Krasinski's got charisma. He's funny. He's handsome, but he's not. And I would say that John Krasinski is not Brad Pitt handsome, but he's handsome. Like you can see how women would find him visually attractive. He's tall. He's lanky. He got jacked for his like Jack Ryan thing on Amazon. So I get it. I mean, look at him now and look at Jim Halpert. The guy that you see now is not Jim Halpert. He's a chiseled specimen at this point. But I guess my point would be, if you were on an island and you were trapped with some candidates for the Sexiest Man Alive, and it'd been a while, and you're like, man, I just need some human contact. Get a little sweaty with another person, and you had your choice between like Jack Black and any of the other candidates here, like a 1990s Johnny Depp. Come on, who you greasing up here?
See, I think your scale's a little askew.
1990s Johnny Depp feels like a bully.
That's right.
It's kind of strange.
He got it twice. I equate it to I call it the plumber scale. And if these men were plumbers, would they get laid by hot women? If Brad Pitt's a plumber, he's still pulling. He's still pulling dimes. He's pulling Instagram models.
That's fair.
Jack Black is a plumber.
Makes sense.
The thing of it is now, but I like what troubles me about this is he's also a musician. And musicians get laid regardless of how you look.
Correct.
Keith Richards today at 70, who can barely walk and talk and 1 out of 10 times could probably get an erection, is slaying something that the three of us would dream about. So this is where the kind of that musical, talent you get. If you're talking about the Madden skills, the agility, the stamina, the cutting, everything else, that's up there.
I am not against if it came out as Jack Black, Sexiest Man Alive. I mean, I wouldn't be upset by it. I mean, honestly, I think it propels all of us to a new level. Every single person, every man in America gets like a 1.5 on their scale. Like if I'm a 5.5, man, I just went up to a fucking at least a 6.5, 7. If Jack Black is the Sexiest Man Alive, I've got some personality. I got some opinions that you may or may not agree with, and I'll tell them to you real quick.
Yeah. But you're also you're trying to sway the bar in a way that, Alan, you had mentioned this on a podcast probably 3 years ago when we were we were talking about sexual equality, and you mentioned something about like men hemming and hawing about women on the big screen, and you had said I don't know, watch Chris Hemsworth take his shirt off and see what your wife says or does or how she reacts. There is something about that. I was about to say can't be quantified. No, it can be quantified. Heartbeat, blood pressure, clitoral vibration, whatever you want to call it. that is it's almost immeasurable. I'm friending this simply because I do think that there has to be a certain aesthetics to it. But again, if it happened, I'd say one for the Joes, because Jack Black to me is comedic genius, funny as hell. But again, is it Danny DeVito? Where do you draw the line?
Danny DeVito has been making us laugh our dicks off since like 1980.
It's just a fucking 50 years.
I mean, and he, you know what? For his squatty nature, he was kind of handsome when he was young. I mean, in his own way. I mean, if you saw him now versus what you saw then,
right.
Oh, okay, I could see him doing okay in the field. Should he have to go play ball?
Yeah.
But what about Charlie from It's Always Sunny? Would that guy ever be in the running?
If here's the thing. This is why it's a slippery slope, and as much as I love Jack Black, I have to friend this as well. The answer would be yes, because Charlie Day is one of the funniest people working in TV and movies. In fact, he should be in more TV and movies because of that. Now, if they brought up like a Steve Zahn, whom I also think is a brilliant actor, both comedic and dramatic, and he's not handsome. He's not classically handsome, but I could see that towing the line. Again, I feel like Krasinski towed the line just a bit. I mean, he's kind of a butter.
Zahn, and don't forget Zahn, who also starred in Saving Silverman with Jack Black, who was in a band, the Diamonds in the Rough.
Diamonds in the Rough.
That's not...
It's like one of me and Wes's favorite fucking movies, I think.
It's
nobody
glorious.
else's.
I mean, Jack Black's so goddamn good in that movie. It's just... Look, if Jack Black won this, I would not be upset. But I would also say that we were talking about Hooters, right? A couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. It's the Sexiest Man Alive thing. I'm sorry. I don't know what the female version of chauvinist is. It's a chauvinist award. That's what it is, okay? You don't put ugly chicks in Playboy magazine. That's not the nature of the magazine. The nature of the Sexiest Man Alive is this a man that you would eat a jelly bean out of his asshole because of the way his face looks? That's how this has to operate, or it's not a thing.
Sure. I think this is like two sides of this, and you guys can agree or disagree. There is something to be said about owning ugly, if you will. And Jack Black does it, I'm not saying the man's ugly, but owns his own body to a point where it is kind of sexy, if you put it away. But Adele is never winning sexiest woman of the year.
Adele now, or Adele's not bad. And now, after she lost...
No, but she's not ever in my lifetime ever beating out Scarlett Johansson. Or the likes of something like that. I don't care how many fucking Grammys she wins. She could win them all.
But if we're basing
every
on
category.
Personality and we're diminishing the looks department, Adele's fucking hilarious if you've ever seen her do an interview. She's very, she engages with her crowds. Like, if she sees somebody, that she's not seen in a long time in the middle of a song, she'll, oh my God, and she'll go down and give him a hug, and it's fucking charming as shit. And that, if we're going to start doing this Madden scale of point system, here's another example. The Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively saga, in my opinion, has diminished Ryan Reynolds' sexiness. No matter how handsome that guy is, he's now kind of a turd, and I hate it.
Is that true?
He's asked to have his portion of the lawsuit dropped. He doesn't want to fucking talk about it anymore. The receipts are so out there now that they're like, these people are scumbags. And yeah, it's a bad look. I hate that he may have tarnished his career in such a way that if he doesn't own his own production department, he may not be getting hired for anything anytime soon. Yeah.
No Green Lantern 2, 3.
Dude, honestly, he's at a point where he's lucky he owns the Deadpool franchise, but I don't know that Marvel's going to want to let him join the parade That's how bad it is, dude. Like, that saga is quite awful. It's.
Well, I think we have the recipe here. Put Jack Black in that Deadpool skimpy. Get old Jack Black. What do you think, Alan? Get Jack Black gets an arm cut off. You know he's gonna be like, yeah, wow, that hurts. Yeah,
well, that's a humdinger.
I'm gonna do my guitar one-handed. Sing my back.
Guys.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Dude, and if you haven't listened to it, I do recommend listening to the Lava Chicken jingle that he sings in the Minecraft movie. But I got to say this, while we're on the subject of Jack Black. I had to take my kid to see the Minecraft movie. Obviously, he's 10, loves Minecraft, blah, 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 blah. The way they made this movie was absolutely brilliant. Because you could sit there and say, how do they make a Minecraft movie? They didn't. They didn't even try to make a Minecraft movie. They just got Jason Momoa and Jack Black to go in and act the fools for an hour and 40 minutes, and they just happen to be inside the Minecraft world. That's the plot of the movie. There is no achievable goal. There's nothing. There is skit after skit after bit after bit, and it's amazing for all.
And then some of the viewers were like, that Jason Momoa is pretty hot, but old Jack Black, he might be a tick higher.
Yeah, and Momoa has let himself go. Not completely, but he's like, this ain't a superhero movie. All right, well, I'm gonna have a few burgers and I'll still wear the cutoffs. Don't worry. Show my arms, but that's about it. Yeah, no, but look, if they, again, I'll just, for the record, I'm friending this. I think you have to be unquestionably handsome. I think the other attributes help your case in the voting. I love Jack Black. Won't be mad if he gets it. I don't think he should. Wes?
Yeah, it's same, but I mean, like, yes, I'm friending it. There's certain, I could name a dozen people, like Barack Obama. Could have he been, or should he ever be the sexiest man alive? I think the guy has riz through the roof. That guy could riz his way through a anti-riz crowd.
He's rizzed up, but yeah, no. Yeah. I get what you're saying. I just want Jack Black.
You know what? I want him to get it too, but I think you just blew up you just blew up what that thing is if he does get it. So I'm voting against it. And out of principle here, guys. By the way, speaking of Barack Obama, did you see the Michelle's little post about everybody's questioning whether they're getting a divorce or not? I'll just real quick, you guys decipher this. She said all she responded with, I'm just simply choosing me. That was her response when asked if they were getting a divorce. What does that mean? It's the most cryptic message of all time.
Means I'm not getting a divorce if I don't have sex with that guy no more.
Yeah. Sounds like she's choosing her vagina.
And that, my friend,
that's right,
is your friend or foe.
I'd let Michelle fart in my mouth.
Yeah? I don't know about that.
Pass on that.
I'd smash though, I guess. Yeah. I'm not like
smash your pass.
I'm not like tremendously attracted to Michelle, but she ain't bad.
There's a guy on TikTok who does smash or pass, and what I love about it, he gives no explanation, but the tone you can tell you can tell why he's. You know why? Like I mean, just smash, and then just moves on. No.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I mean, I'd not say. I think I might have a threesome with her and Whoopi, just to say I had sex with Michelle Obama.
Whoopi's worse, probably. Actually, Whoopi's way
worse.
Well,
you gotta fall on a few swords to get the gold, buddy.
Jesus. Oh Lord. Anyway,
No, middle classholes. We already said that. All right, Mur. You said the time warp thing's closing out here soon, so maybe a last few facts from this time warp.
Let's
Fun
get to
Fact
it, my
Friday.
friends. 5 fun
What you
facts
got?
for you fuckers on a Friday. It's the Ripleys. Believe it or not, time. Warp. 2. Brought to you, of course, by our good friend the Cuckster. Make sure you find the Cuckster. He's on Instagram. He's on TikTok. He's on them with the same exact name, brother. Cuckster for life. That's Cuckster for life on both Instagram and the TikTok.
Have we given up on Shin Splints Recovery Group? Are they no longer
they're
a
no
paid
longer a paid
sponsor?
sponsor because they've done so much better than we have, and they have not like advertised anyway. In fact, Shin Splints Recovery Group should actually be promoting us in order to kind of like show the glory the other way. But
yeah.
if you do have any pain below the knee and above the ankle, make sure you do check out the Shin Splints Recovery Group. You can find them on Facebook. That is their only area of operation. And I will every couple months forget about them, and then there's a post of someone asking a non-medical issue about a non-medical problem, where the answer is just rest and recovery. That's it.
They're like, I started running barefoot, and my shins are exploding out of the skin.
Yeah.
Should I slow down? And somebody's like, no, you just got to push through, man. It's just the worst kind of community.
You know what? I commend your Aborigines approach to running.
Yeah.
More barefoot on gravel.
I've been wearing my Vibram barefoot shoes and running on asphalt for 3 weeks straight. For some reason.
They're like,
Preparing
no,
for my-
man. There's always the one guy, man. He's like, no, they say if you make it through the first 6 months and you can still walk, you'll never run the same again, baby. You'll just be running for miles and miles every time you go for a stroll. Fucking it's just the weirdest shit. That community's so strange.
But if you want to join a strange community, and by the way, it's self-sustaining now. It's like a perpetual motion
It is.
Facebook
It's its own
page
thing.
at this point, just run by the inmates. I don't even think the creators has he mentioned it in any amount of time.
Yeah.
I do.
You should ask him.
He silent partner. I did last week, and he says, I haven't thought about it in a couple months, but I just shut up and keep making money.
Greatest troll page, one of the greatest troll pages on the interwebs.
Did he monetize that?
No.
Oh, God.
He said that's
Well,
tongue in cheek.
Since we're
I probably would have killed him
how
if he
many-
said so.
How many
that's what I
people
was getting
are
ready
in
to check. So let's take a look at the
there?
Shin
I
Splints
think it's like
recovery.
5,500.
It's
They're international.
2,400, so 2,400 members at the Shin Splints recovery,
Okay.
which has
That's
got us
not-
eclipsed
that's not
by
bad.
about 1,800 or so. So anyway, let's get out of the depression
Nice.
and into some knowledge. God damn it! Why'd you bring them motherfuckers up? Did you know the first pizzeria in America opened 55 years before Domino's? First pizzeria, 1905. Domino's, 1960.
Why Domino's? Why is
Domino's was the
marker?
first chain pizzeria. Yeah.
A chain franchise, yeah.
Yeah. 55 years later, all these people who were just cutting pies and selling them by the slice. We ought to make more of these and deliver them via vehicle.
What's
Huh.
What's crazy about that
I don't know.
is I
Seems
think
weird.
Pizza Hut was the first place to actually set up a pizza
Deliver,
shop
I think.
outside of the upper mid Atlantic, it's like New York, New Jersey.
Yeah.
I don't even think it had moved into Connecticut yet. And these two guys had pizza and were like, "Whoa, this stuff's great. We should build a restaurant." And they didn't know how to make the dough. So the reason that your pan pizza at Pizza Hut is the way it is, they didn't know how to make the dough, so they just bought French bread and used it as their crust. Yeah.
Pizza Hut. Interesting. Yeah. Can't speak for the dough or the French bread or the business model, but I do know that a Pizza Hut in Havre de Grace, Maryland, circa 2000 and 2001 did not ID. So, a 19-year-old looking for a Coors Light lunch could swing by unscathed and play
That's right.
and play
on
Pac-Man.
the tabletop system, buddy.
The tabletop Pac-Man. That's right. Yeah, they did no questions asked. They just kind of gave you a once over.
I
like,
truly
you look
believe that
21.
if Pizza Hut wants to, because I deliver to a Pizza Hut, and there might be orders going out the door, but there ain't no customers coming in it. I'm telling you that. I bet if they would put it back to 1985 aesthetics, that place would be rolling in the dough, pun intended, for, I'd give them 5 years. If they made it like a retro Pizza Hut, because people our
back.
age, I know you guys don't have kids, but I would want to take William to go see, hey man, this is exactly how it was when I was growing up. Like a jukebox with songs.
Yeah, the carpeted,
Yeah,
the carpeted
the
floor.
very dangerous open air fireplace in the middle of the restaurant.
You can kind of see back into the kitchen, not all the way, but most of the way.
I mean, I'm just saying, just throwing it out there.
And sell beer.
To
Keep
teenagers.
selling beer.
You'll pack that place.
I was 19.
19, you're right.
I was 19, by the way.
Did you know?
After a long day of community college education, I needed
Look,
need something to
after
cool
a long
the
day
edges.
of living where we live, you needed a fucking cold Coors Light. All right. Did you know the saxophone was invented the same year the Smithsonian was established, 1846?
Hey, you think they were serenading people at the front door with that shitty cart? Well, that's more of a trumpet, but
They're just playing George Michael before.
damn, your air sax.
No,
Not
it's not.
quite as good as your air trumpet, but it's good though.
Thank you.
It's really good.
Okay.
Again, Dave Coulier came through. They could have had.
Coulier.
Yeah.
Is it not
Jeez.
crazy that the only trumpet song I really know is called Yakety Sax? Okay. My point on the instrument thing that I wanted to make, though, was like, you wanted me to move on?
Damn it.
I'll move on.
No. Go ahead. Yeah, the saxophone's a very
Not just that it's a complicated
instrument.
instrument. When you look back in time and think about the music that has been made, and then the music that's been made has been based on the instruments available at the time. Like, imagine our music now if the electric guitar had never been invented. And so when you go back to how lame some old music is, it's like, wow, they were kind of stifled by, like, the sounds of the things that they had. Like when they had those weird bowls that had water and you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, of course. That's miscongeniality.
right.
I almost want to. Yeah. Damn. I just think okay. I played the trombone. I was in the brass section. The trumpet makes sense. The tuba makes sense. For the most part, those had 3 valves. In my case, it was a sliding valve. Go up and down. You manipulate the air in a different way. Your mouth tightens or loosens to make a certain note. The saxophone has it's like a keytar, more or less. I mean, there's thousands and thousands of notes, and someone was like, unsatisfied after a dozen keys. Like, no, we need more, and then we need subsection ones, and we need ones higher and lower. And then we need a reed in this puppy. Oh, it's a woodwind? Yeah, kind of. Yeah, sure. Throw them in the woodwinds. Put them with the clarinet.
But it's the weird thing about a saxophone, though, is it's an amazing instrument if it's played well. If it's not played at like a supreme level, it's the worst instrument in the band.
Right. Yeah.
I could see that. I think that's any horn that isn't like a horn-based band, though. Like if you got like one trumpet, if that guy's bad,
You
the whole
gotta
band's bad.
fake it
now.
a little bit with like, so you only got what? Yeah, 3 of those,
3.
and but then halfway's one. So like you've got like I don't know, like 4 times 3, whatever that number is. You can do that. Got that many options.
Big number.
But anyway, did you know The Hollywood sign was erected the same year the Walt Disney Company was founded. No year given. Thanks for that.
I don't know that.
No. I wonder, do you think they
So what is
made
it?
it to placate
Hollywood sign?
the arrival of that? No. But there was years where it was
Yeah.
decrepit. Have you seen that? Yeah, that's kind of like just a sign of the times, literally. Just out how, Hollywood was Holly or Hall.
Yeah, I mean, originally it was Hollywoodland, and then the land part was so fucking gone that they just removed it. And then I think Alice Cooper might own one of the O's, if I'm not mistaken. They had a big thing where they were like, we think the sign's iconic, but it needs replaced. And like, so a bunch of, celebrities of the time paid to buy letters to get it refurbished.
Refurbished and re-erected. Yeah. Now, if you want to, to see just a depressing era of America, Google Hollywood sign decrepit.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's just like it's oh god, it's I hate. I'm not saying I hate talking about it. Or I'm uncomfortable talking about it. Maybe it's just because of the fact that like I only know I've been within a football's field of the Hollywood sign. I was like, that's pretty cool. It's a lot larger than I ever imagined, and could never imagine a time where even when Los Angeles was somewhat, prominent and making a lot of movies that we were like, I mean, that sign.
The thing is,
we don't give a shit.
It's just a real estate advertisement is all it really was. It's like, buy houses here in the Hollywoodlands. Yeah. That's it. And then they were like, all right, we sold our shit. We're not taking that monstrosity down. Let it rust into the ground. I don't give a shit.
Maybe a fire will come through.
Wow.
I joke around about that. I shouldn't.
How dare you? Did you know the first odometer, they actually put in parentheses, mileage counter for the fucking nincompoops out there, was invented nearly 2,000 years before the gas-powered car? No details on that one either.
What are you tracking? Your horse? Your carriage? Your buggy?
Zero idea.
Your hip thrust?
Well, counter on that bad boy. And 1, 2, and 3.
It's 2 3/4. Ooh. All right.
And finally, a fact we can really hang our hats on here. Did you know oranges were named hundreds of years before the word came to mean the color orange?
Pretty slick. Those people.
Well, I mean,
why couldn't the banana been called yellow? And the apple been called red.
Honestly, I feel like when you look at an orange, and if you see that it's orange, I think people's first instinct is to believe that the fruit was named after the color because of what it looks like, but the color was actually named after the fruit. Mm-hmm. It's like solving the chicken and the egg riddle.
Bam.
And we just did it. Good job, boys.
Bam. Yeah.
Yeah. Vitamin C.
Vitamin, fuck you.
You say you get to like one cup of orange juice is like 17 oranges drained.
It's absolutely terrible for you. I never realized that that's why like a juice glass is like just 2 shot glasses put together, because it's so much sugar that your body doesn't really know how to process it, and you maybe need 1 little glass to wake you up in the morning for breakfast, but the rest of it's just like sugar high crash, and you shouldn't do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Would you have been a proponent? Like, I mean, obviously you played soccer growing up. Some mom had oranges at halftime. Maybe we shouldn't have been doing that.
Actually, the reason you shouldn't be doing that is because apparently the saliva in your mouth from running all that and then putting acid on your teeth just rots them right out your face.
Smart.
Yeah, some dad who was a dentist.
Orange slices.
I'm not going to tell him.
It's an orange slice.
I'm not saying shit. Yeah. More. Jeremy's not doing it.
Preventing scurvy.
That's just all citrus fruits, grapefruits. Fuck.
He's got a second half to play.
Dude,
He's our midfielder.
I remember
Needs energy.
now, there's a difference between moms getting you up in the morning and dads getting you up in the morning. And I remember we had our little, it was for soccer. We had 2-a-day practices that started in August, which I don't know if anybody out there is aware of what a Maryland August feels like. Not a fun time to be outside. You can literally feel the heat hitting you in the undercarriage as you're running. And my dad got me up. And of course, I'm all fucking sleepy-eyed. Brings me a bowl of cereal and the biggest glass of orange juice that mankind has ever seen. And about, I don't know, an hour and a half into running probably 12 miles for the day, I just threw up pure bile acid. And it burned the shit out of my throat, my fucking esophagus, like right up here, the dangly thing in the back of your throat. Just everything. I was in pain.
Well, I mean, if there was any consolation prize, the field hockey team was practicing right next to you. You get to go
It
look
was
at
always like a cruel treat every time you're out there.
It was, yeah, because they were dressing for the occasion.
Just sports bras and no chance.
That's right. Actually, we were doing 2-a-days, and it was like 8 to 10, and then they do like an afternoon practice, 2 to 4. Give you a little time to recover and rebound, and there's no recovery or rebound. And of course, I decided to recoup and replenish with a Ercoli's cheesesteak, and then have to take a dump. To which no 15-year-old should ever have to in his life, and didn't realize that they didn't stock any of the bathrooms with toilet paper at the time, and then hilarity ensued. I had to walk around the school with my cleats on, like, hey, anybody, is anyone here? Does anyone have anything? Tissues, newspaper, anything?
The best part, Alan, was this is before they cared about health violations or anything. And so all of the equipment would be in the equipment room from the end of the school year until August. And so for the first, maybe 2-3 weeks of practices, the water that we would get in our giant Gatorade tub would be green because the hose had molded over inside. And old Jumpin' George Reynolds didn't give two shits. You would literally, when he blew the whistle, water, you would go grab a cone from your, whatever drill you were running.
With.
You would grab a cone, and it was every man for himself, and then you would dip that cone into the green bucket of fucking sludge water. But I'll say this, always ice cold.
I like it. I'm here for it. Sounds fun.
But yeah, your fun fact.
That's Fun Fact Friday.
It's been gone.
All right. Tonight, before you go, coming from the mirror.com/UK sport horse racing.
Thank you. Let me type that in.
A survey
real
of
quick.
2,000 men. They have to figure this out. A survey of 2,000 men found that an overconfident in their athletic abilities, so much so that 1 in 50 men believe that they could outrun a horse in a 100-meter dash. That's right, 100 meters against a thoroughbred. 1 in 50 schmucks or putzes or insert any moronic thing you can think of. You can use the reword. Think that they could defeat a horse in a 100-meter dash.
I'm going to bite here for a second while you're scanning this article.
Yeah.
I do have to ask the question, though. How fast does a horse get up to speed by the 100-meter mark? And I only ask that because, there's a lot of videos of, can a Lotus beat an F-14 jet? And it's the jet takes a second. I mean, once it gets up to speed, you're fucked. But the acceleration,
right.
Dude,
we've watched enough Kentucky Derbies and enough fucking Preaknesses to see those bastards. Now, granted, there might not be some fucking high-powered bell and a jockey whipping the living shit out of it. But I right now the horses running at about 40 miles an hour. The fastest human being's ever been clocked, Usain Bolt, 27.78 miles per hour.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can understand that. Like, what compels a man to think that they got that in them?
What compels him is what is.
Who knows?
Why? Because they drank green water in the fucking late
I think
90s?
listen, and listen, it's delusional. I absolutely know I cannot beat a horse, even in my prime, in a 100-meter dash, 100 yards, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Because I know in 4 strides that horse will take over me. Easy. Maybe not even that. You slap the horse's ass, he goes, and by the time his front hooves hit the ground again, maybe I got 10 feet on him. Maybe. In the next 1 second, he's going to be striding past me. And I can't run 100 meters. The fastest ever, like 11:3. A horse is killing. No. Sorry. It's over. It's done. But that hubris is what got us here today, Wes. So we need that inside of us. We need to believe we can do the impossible, or we'll never accomplish the mediocre.
All right. So, Alan, do you think that that 1 in 50 men need to believe that this is accomplishable in order to achieve human greatness?
Do I think that at least one of them needs to? No, I don't. If that's your question, I mean, and I say that just because it's impossible. It's a physical impossibility. It's just not going to happen. You could think it, I guess, if you really want to, but it's impossible.
I disagree with your premise here, though, Alan. This is the thing. I think 1 in 50 men, they can't, but they need to believe that they can. Otherwise, we don't go to space, man. Otherwise, we don't talk on cell phones through the ether.
Yeah, but see, like, I think that it's different. If the question was like, fucking 1 in 50 men think, if like this was, we were fucking, I don't know, breaking horses as a human species, and they were like, 1 in 50 men fucking thinks we should just ride horses as locomotion. Fuck your feet. This is bullshit. It's 16,000 BC. Fucking ride a horse. Fucking, I'd be like, yeah, you're right. We do need to learn how to ride horses. We really need to fucking improve ourselves and move ourselves into the future of locomotion for bipedal fucking animals. And that's either riding animals or making vehicles later. Fucking, I get that premise. Yeah, absolutely. Now, no, you don't need to believe that you can fucking outrun a horse. Like, at some point in time, maybe you had to believe, but if you believe in that now, you're not going to space. You're not finding the edge of the ice wall. You're not you know what I mean? You're not touching the firmament. Like, fucking, I'm sorry. You're just not doing it. If you're the 1 in 50, just stop that. You're making the rest of us look bad somehow.
Yeah. That's also 18% found that they could emerge victorious in an arm wrestling match against a chimp. That might be worse. That might be dumber.
That's way stupider. You're fucking that arm is getting ripped off.
I'd like to see the challenge. I'd like to have that televised. I mean, the horse race thing would just be a bunch of like, I don't know, maybe the pre-interviews would be hilarious after you watch them like shatter their egos, but I think watching them shatter their fucking elbow socket would be even better. Good God. But Alan,
right.
Or even just their hands. Like, you remember fucking Ben Stiller's character's hands in fucking Tropic Thunder when he's trying to cry in the beginning and they're just fucking like shards of meat? That's what happens to your hand. Outrageous.
But you know what, though? Alan maybe accidentally brought up a point, like, talking about riding the horse. Like, 1 in 50 dudes had to, like, think they could mount and dominate like a 1,500-pound animal at some point in our history.
Yeah.
Like, you know why we don't ride zebras? Because we failed every time we tried to get on their back. Because they're dicks.
They're mean as fuck.
Yeah. So this came about because they asked 15 animals. Just like, it wasn't just like, hey, a horse. I'll read a few off to you. So crocodile, which I think is feasible. top end speed, you're not beating a croc, but a croc being cold blooded, they're not running 100 meters. They don't have to. Even if a croc's trained to run it, I don't think they're gonna. They might get you in the front end, but
I don't know.
back end,
I've seen a croc scurry. They're pretty fast.
They're quick.
But again, that's 100 meters. It's not it's not a 40 meter or something like that.
They're quick. You got zigzag because they're idiots.
I don't know. Okay, wait. Are you saying that a croc just can't run 100 meters? And that's where.
Well, it can, but it's not going to sustain. They're better in short spurts, and they don't really have they don't have it. They would have to expend every ounce of energy to get to the 75 meter mark.
I'm just saying you send him on a chicken murder spree. He's full, and you do it in August. He's like nice and his body's all revved up. So I'm just saying if the speeds I've seen a croc sustained for the full 100, you're not beating him. But under your parameters of like he's going to run out of gas by the 50, then yeah, I think you could. But all right, what's the next one?
Right. It's elephant.
No, elephant. Same deal.
Yeah, not having. It's the elephant and hippo are 2 and 3, and you're not beating
that's
them.
why.
No.
That's why hippos kill like more people than any other land mammal on the fucking planet because you think they're fat and slow, and they'll just find you and kill you when they want.
They're
water
fast
or
as shit,
land.
actually.
Rabbit, no. Now here's a good goat. Can goats? Can they get it?
I've been watching some videos because William likes watching animal videos. I've seen.
You watch goats sprinting. That's
not
interesting.
Sprint,
wow, I didn't
but
know that about you.
I've seen some videos recently where a goat, literally like on all fours with no knees, somehow jumps like 8 feet in the air, like he's on a springboard. So I have to assume if that equates to speed, and you could get them to concentrate long enough to do the 100, they'd probably beat you. You probably have the best chance against the goat, though,
Gotcha.
but they seem pretty quick.
It's a good, yeah. I mean, I think you have a good chance. House cat.
I've seen a house cat run. House cats are fast as fuck.
Yeah, you're catching that. I don't know why it's a swarm of bees. So you're running against hundreds, thousands.
Fuck that. That sounds
You're fucked.
That's the worst idea.
Ask Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely how that happened.
Mongoose, kangaroo. No and no.
A mongoose. No, I'm not a king cobra.
What is a mongoose exactly?
Yeah.
It's
Okay,
like a
that's what I
little
thought.
rodent.
Yeah.
It's like a weasel.
Cat.
I don't know.
I would say, yeah.
But I
guess
think
so.
you're right.
I guess
You
could
know,
say
something
that.
I'm not really factoring in here, Wes. There's a lot of animals like me. I was faster like left to right than I was in a straight line. Like if I could juke you, I could go back and forth. But if I had to go like 100% at like a distant, like a sprinting distance, there's a lot of guys that could have beat me. But if you needed to like stop, start, go, back, forth, left, right, I would probably have you. But that's
Right.
that speed
Obstacle
didn't equate
course.
to like top end. It was more agility, I would say, than speed.
Yeah. I mean, some like the rest, like I said, mongoose, kangaroo, no. Cheetah, no. Ostrich,
Fuck no, yeah.
not happening.
Don't really want
Fox,
to
no shot. Deer, zebra, horse. I mean, no. You're getting
100%.
smoked.
You're right. You're right, dude. Fucking ostriches are quick as shit, dude. In Arab countries, they do ostrich races. They ride them. It's fucking hilarious because they're dumb and sometimes they fight you.
God. Why they like,
Not sometimes, all the times.
they should do the
What do
carriage.
you mean? Like
You know?
pull?
Yeah, they do it with horses.
Like
We have the fucking the single. Yeah. Now we're talking.
Now we're advancing.
Right.
No,
monkeys
not
are starters.
starters. They ride the chariots.
Yeah, there you go. And you mic them up. All right. All right, Alan, tell all the delusional folks who think they can beat primitive animals or wild animals, not primitive, but any primitive or current animals in a 100-meter dash where you can find the middle classholes.
Whatever Wes said, you can find that at all your favorite social media platforms. We're at MDL Classholes on Instagram and Twitter. We're the Middle Classholes on Facebook and TikTok and YouTube and fucking Am I missing anything else? I always ask that, and I know we don't. We should just put something. We should start something up. Is Vine still a thing? We should make one of those.
It's called TikTok, right?
Just fucking. Just yeah. That's all we. That's really what we're focusing on, isn't it? I fuck around on Instagram every now and then. Anyway, Keith Kern,
We're doing well on
tickleourtummies@gmail.com. Yeah, Instagram be popping, as the kids say. I don't think that's true. I don't think any kids say that now.
Yeah, Instagram's funky fresh. I'm pretty sure they say that.
I'm sure they don't say that.
Yeah. Tonight, so on This Week in Middle Classholes history, this comes 5 years ago, 2020. We discuss Cats, the major motion picture starring, I think Idris Elba was in it. They had a butthole cut. You guys remember?
The
guys remember the
CGI
Cat's
didn't quite
butthole
cover
cut?
the anal region, and yeah, it gave some amazing visual effects.
That's all right. Dickheads like us figured it out, and hilarity ensues. Enjoy. We will see you next week. All right, so maybe one of you guys can help me out with this. So Cats, big time movie last year, flopped in the box office, flopped everywhere, critically unacclaimed. Is that what's the opposite of critically acclaimed?
Critically unacclaimed, I think.
Critically unacclaimed.
Razzie worthy.
Raz. Okay.
Trash.
So Cats allegedly added buttholes, then removed them. Now fans want the buttholes cut. I read a little bit about this. Apparently, there were in the first version of the movie there were some butthole scenes, and I think that not necessarily like they wouldn't say. I was just like, I honestly, this is a little bit ambiguous. They didn't really get into a whole lot of what they meant by the butthole cut. Reducing the butthole cut, release the butthole cut. Cats is an inconsistent, weird, etc., etc. So it looks like there's a director's cut that people are clamoring for that involves buttholes.
So here's the latest and greatest on the butthole cut of Cats. So in order to achieve the CGI that you need to create the realistic cat-like features on these actors and actresses, you had to wear these skin-tight Lycra suits. So it basically hugs every crevice of your body. And then the tracking picks up all the crevices, and obviously with crevice there's a darkness, if you will. And so there's a line or a divot. And so apparently there were butthole divots on most of the actors and actresses when they turned around. And so when the CGI then imposed the lifelike cat features onto the actors and actresses, the butthole phenomenon was created. Also, the vagina phenomenon was created. So apparently a CGI artist had to then go back and take the finished cut of the work and digitally remove vaginas and buttholes from the Cats movie. And so there is an untouched butthole cut, if you will.
God, I want the touch the butthole cut.
Exactly. So now people are clamoring for the butthole cut, and I'm telling you now, this is the best thing that could have happened to this movie, because now a dimwit moron, chucklehead, infantile, mush-brained moron like myself will now sit through memories so I can watch a CGI butthole on the screen.
Yeah, he's right. I'll watch it now. That's all. Like I had no interest at all, but I'll watch it now.
Critically unacclaimed. And
critically
now, I mean, have you?
unacclaimed.
Any of you? I haven't seen it. You guys, I'm assuming you haven't.
Nope.
Nobody did.
Yeah.
Well, someone had to watch it.
Nope. Apparently Jason Derulo, and that's because he was in the movie.
You're saying no one went to the movie?
No one. Not a single person.
They had to re-release it. It did so poorly on its original release. They had to re-release it to try to coop back something to pray that the same 5 people would go back and watch it again.
Again and again. All right, so here's my thoughts on this. I'm wondering, so you have this skin-tight suit, but you can't put some sort of like padding that doesn't show a vajayjay or a rear end hole, a hootie hoo,
A hootie hole.
a hootie hole. That's
well,
that's
I
what
mean,
Hootie and the Blowfish are named after.
say
by
that
the way.
like if you're doing okay, let's just use Marvel movies because I'd say they're probably the most CGI prolific movies out there. They're not superimposing a lifelike creature body because they're naked. You know, they're cats, so they're like naked cats. And so, but Iron Man's got a suit on. So yes, you're not going to digitally make a Iron Man butthole, though I do wonder where it goes. But like maybe that's an extra piece of weaponry he needs in a pinch.
In a pinch. Ah!
Nice.
The loaf launcher, if you will.
That's good.
But you have to digitally create that. Now they had to digitally remove this because it was naturally created. But my point is this: if you're going to make cats who don't have any pants on, one of the most prominent features of cats is the exposed butthole. That is the number one most embarrassing thing for cat owners. In fact, you can go on Amazon right now and you can find a butthole cover for your cat or dog.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming in this movie that because there's a lot of buttholes exposed, there's a lot of people crawling around. There's not a lot of people standing up, right?
I don't know how anthropomorphic cat movies work.
I would assume there's a fair amount of crawling. That makes the most sense.
A lot of this, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure, going on.
Yeah.
I thought maybe I don't know. I thought maybe you guys have seen it at Broadway or something.
Nope. I don't know anything about Cats, quite frankly, other than it was a really bad fucking flop at the box office. That is it. That is the extent of my Cats knowledge.
I know like the hooks of some of the songs, but
Nope.
I heard who's it? Iris Alda.
Idris Elba.
Idris Elba?
I heard you see his division sign.
As a cat?
Yeah, what's that?
As
His
a cat?
Division.
Yeah.
Or just in general?
Well, with the cat suit on.
Oh, yeah. See, do it. Just do it. Why not? Again, if you want people to watch the movie, it's just a fun. Who cares? I mean, you got to laugh at yourself. The problem with this movie was they took themselves so seriously. This is like part of that. I don't want to say it's part of the Me Too movement. It's part of that, like, I'm like ultra progressive, I'm morally superior to you kind of Hollywood movement film where, like, this is the greatest Broadway musical of all time. So we're going to get the most snooty, pretentious Hollywood socialite actor, actress, singers of all time. And we're going to clamor them into this movie. It's going to be super progressive and it's going to be super social justice warrior. Everybody come see. And then they realize their audience isn't as big as they touted it to be. And they failed. So I want to see buttholes. And how ironic and appropriate that it'll probably make more money in the Butthole Cut than it will, because everybody just wants to see Taylor Swift's asshole.
Dude, yeah, every like major star in the world is in this movie too. It's pretty insane.
Siskel and Ebert couldn't have said it any better than you just wrote it up, Murr. And I gotta tell you, I gotta hand it to you. I gotta hand it to you, pal. That is real.
I can tell you where those thumbs are going.
Oh man, Cats coming to Cats. You guys ever see the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? Anytime I hear Cats, I always think of Frank Reynolds talking about the cat stew.
Yeah.
Cats. I'm talking about cats. Look it up.
I've been watching a lot of Always Sunny recently.
We used to toss it in the soup.
Most every day, I always seem to find myself late. Might be on as fuck, I'm still riding like a pup. I fell down, but my dick's still up.
Well, sometimes I may need a hand when I'm just too drunk to stand. I don't need your sympathy, keep your judgment too. 'Cause you just give it a little pull and my dick's strong. bull, ready to satisfy my woman whole night through. I get drunk most every day. Everyone knows Scooter is a gay. Might be on his fuck, I'm still riding like a pup. I fell down, but my dick still up. I fell down, but my dick still up. I fell down, but my dick still up.